Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This is the Audi RS5. This is the key of the vehicle. This is to unlock the boot of the vehicle. This is to unlock the car, and this is to lock the car. Really nice key. And that is the car right in front of you. This is the RS5, which is Rennsport 5, which actually in German translates to I think race sport or something of that sort. It is actually a sleeper, but looks so freaking beautiful that I can't really call it a sleeper. First and foremost, you're going to be opening the engine bay of this absolutely gorgeous machine. Okay, a little bit of effort. Oh my god, this seems very heavy. That is the engine. It gets a nice engine cover. Says RS right there. TFSI also written there. And V6 also. Beautiful engine bay. It looks like a work of art, of course. And you can see everything there. The hardware bits. Super duper awesome. Right? Insulation obviously. And let's shut this for a moment. Now, I don't know if the right thing to say or not. But this is actually the base model of the RS5 because it also comes in carbon black as well as Vorsprung variants, which get 20-inch wheels and a lot more equipment like Bang & Olufsen audio system and the likes. But right now we are just going to be focusing on this one because there's only one sole variant available in India. Says RS5 here. I'm not going to go into much detail because this is actually very similar to the S5. So you can see the lights are also similar. In fact, here is actually where the DRL is, and it gets these dynamic swipe indicators as well. The lights are beautiful. These are matrix LED lights. Here you can see the DRL of the vehicle. Yeah, beautiful. Headlight washers are also present on this car. Yes, headlight washers are also present. And of course, these are not real units. These are dummy units for the ADAS system, because ADAS is not offered in India, but it's offered abroad. Now this is functional. In fact, it gets functional air vents. Can you see that? Yeah, functional air vents. Front parking sensors. A front camera is missing, but there is a dummy for the same because the other two variants which I named, they get a 360-degree parking camera with a front camera, of course. Unfortunately, Faisal Khan's fingers of truth are not really happy with this because this fake stuff is uncalled for on this car. Now the car looks absolutely phenomenal. Just look at it. Okay, there is the towing hook. You get this sort of a silver lip, but you know where the car touches? It's here. Okay, this flap actually touches on really bad roads or speed breakers, but for the most part you should not be worried about anything. The design is really very elegant. I love the fact that the wheels look super duper awesome because they contrast with the color. These are silver colored wheels. Now these are 10-spoke units. The S5 also gets 10-spoke units. The S5 also gets 19-inch wheels. However, the size of this tire happens to be 265/35/19, and the S5 obviously gets 255/35/19. Meanwhile, the 20-incher happens to be 275/30/20, and these are steel discs, of course. It says RS on the inside and Audi Sport here on the alloy, of course. Beautiful looking design. I really very much like it. And here it says RS5 as well. There you can see the indicator. In fact, at night, not from here, but from the door area, it actually projects Audi Sport on the road as well. And you can see the ground clearance is not that much. They've also given it sort of a gloss black finish here, sort of for the side skirt. And here you can see there is the shark fin antenna. Nice silver sort of finishing, black colored B pillar as well, and then there's a silver line running behind as well. So the design is really super duper awesome. Looks fantastic. I think this is a car which does justice to almost every color. You see it in black, you see it in green, you see it in red, or you see it in white. It's just phenomenal in terms of design. And then Faisal Khan's fingers of truth, not really happy with this fake stuff happening here. Lights are again beautiful. In fact, Audi logo on the inside, that is a level of attention to detail. Lights look beautiful at night. Dynamic swipe indicators look really good. And you get a very subtle spoiler here, which is actually finished in gloss black. Looks phenomenal. And there's this diffuser treatment. Now the S5 actually has got 4 exhausts, real ones. This is only 2, but you can see this is much bigger. And of course, yeah, I'm just going to try and get inside. That thing is closed at the moment because yeah, it gets active exhaust, so we're just going to open it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be pressing this button on the steering wheel, and yeah, let me get inside and press it. First and foremost, let's turn off the air conditioning. Already it is starting to sound very, what do I say, boomy, because the RS mode is actually activated. And here you can see the exhaust now. Yeah, that flap actually opened, and that's the reason why it is so loud all of a sudden. Here you obviously get the reflector, rear parking sensors. Here's the reverse parking camera of this car, and I'm so in awe of the design. It's so lovely. You can see the underbody as well. That's fantastic too. In fact, the wheels are massive. Look at the size of the wheels. Absolutely phenomenal. And the parking sensor extends all the way to the side as well, which means the next thing we are going to do is going to open the boot of this vehicle, which means I just have to press it here. And I remember from the S5, it does not open if the car is turned on. Although I've unlocked all the doors, still that's not working. So what you're going to do, you're just going to press this button and there opens the boot. Obviously it is a powered tailgate and it is actually a decent size boot, not really as big as you would expect considering this is a Sportback, but still big enough to accommodate 465 liters. And the spare wheel obviously isn't an alloy. You can't fit such a big wheel inside here. The tire size happens to be 125/70/19, and yeah, the boot is big and it's got a lot of functional bits here and there, lights and whatnot. Who can the likes? And we have already discussed all this with the S5. There's actually a light there as well. Thankfully, unlike the S5, this will close in one go. Okay, there's something that actually come in between. Now let's get to the rear door. First and foremost, I like the way the doors open, but you can see the seats are actually low. It's not the most comfortable because of the low seating and of course a sloping roofline, which means that headroom can be a bit of an issue. So we're just going to get inside. Now, because this has got sportier seats, there is no scooped out seat back. There is a magazine holder though. Legroom and knee room isn't that great. Under thigh support is also not that great. Headroom is also not that spectacular. So yes, not very apt for people to sit at the rear, especially tall people. And here you can see there are cup holders which are very nicely done. Below here there's storage space as well. Meanwhile, okay, you get 3 proper adjustable headrests, light on the top too. Just press it like this. No, you have to actually press the button to activate the lights, which is cool enough. And you get a handle, you get a hook as well. Isofix child seat mounts with a top teeth here as well. And there's good amount of space on the passenger shelf, but don't keep anything there because obviously if you keep stuff there, how will you see what's behind? And height adjustable seat belts, there's a small hook there too. So rear seat comfort, not that great. It should have actually had Audi RS written here. Bag and also an audio system on this car, and door pockets are also decent size. I like the way the frameless doors have been done, but this does not go all the way down, which is a bit disappointing. Okay, you can see the dashboard design is phenomenal. Like really nice dashboard design of this car. Super sporty, not a sleeper. On the inside, you get 3-zone climate control air conditioning, so AC vents at the rear, 12-volt charging socket, a proper USB would be nice. And then I'm just going to turn on the air conditioning just because so I can. Okay, the air conditioning is actually quite good in this car. So yes, that's about it. I love these inlays, which are so fantastic. In fact, even on the dashboard, you can see very nicely, very tastefully done. I love Audi for the interiors they do with a level of quality which is just phenomenal to say the least. And we're going to look at the car from this side. It is so well designed. Just look at the way the whole body flows. I mean, it is like a mini RS7 without a doubt. Let's see the rear brakes as well, where you can see RS is written. Obviously, it gets steel discs, no carbon ceramic discs or even adaptive dampers for that matter. But that's something we're going to be talking when we're driving this car. Let's get to the front, and there's a lot more interesting bits because there's some RS specific bits on this car. First and foremost, it gets frameless doors, which means when you roll down the full window, there you can see it looks absolutely beautiful with the window down. Super sporty, super nice, super attractive and super sexy. You can see cuts and creases on the hood as well. Meanwhile, when you actually shut the door, now you can just notice this window, okay? There it goes down. Yeah, so it remains up and then it goes down when you shut the window. In fact, what is the chassis number of this car and all those things? That's actually written here. That's not all. It's also written on a very, in a very hidden place. So when I open the door, I will show it to you. It's here. Yeah, that's right. It actually is written here along with the weight of this vehicle. Now you get sort of aluminum pedals as well, proper dead pedal. This is like really huge, like humongous. What a massive storage space, which is kind of hidden, to be really honest. Now these are actually the controls for the headlights. Now it gets automatic headlights. This is for the headlight washer function. This is for the rear fog lights, and this is, I think, probably for the headlight leveler. I'm not too sure about it. Door pockets are decent size at the front. Everything illuminates at night. Okay, memory seats for the driver. This is to unlock and lock the vehicle, and these are obviously the power window controls. These are the controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. These rear view mirrors are fantastic because obviously they are electrically adjustable, they are auto dimming, they are heated, and they also have the memory function. That's a lot. Meanwhile, these are the controls to adjust the seats, and you can adjust it in a million ways. Seats are amazingly comfortable. It says RS right there, no adjustable headrests, but these are sporty seats, beautifully done. Under thigh support, never an issue here. What fabulous seats. And it doesn't end there, it also gets a massage function. So let's do one thing, let's roll up the window and let's get inside. Now it says RS here, which actually illuminates at night too, and we're just going to turn off the air conditioning because I had turned it on, and it has got 3-zone climate control air conditioning, but we need to turn it on because you have to see the dials. They are fantastic to say the least. The way inside the dial you have, inside this rotary controller you have the numbers, fantastic. And this is obviously nerd. I don't think anybody does switches as good as Audi. Like, you have that tactile feel to it, beautiful. And because this car is absolutely ballistic in performance, my camera has decided to wrap itself completely, put on a seatbelt and sit on the side. Okay, the glove box is decent sized, and then you can turn on and off the passenger airbag. In fact, there's some storage, rather I think this is for the hard drive probably. So it's a decent sized glove box, and this is the manual of the vehicle, which is, let's just see it, it is quite big. In fact, it is how many pages? 337 pages as such. Meanwhile, let's play book cricket, just kidding. It is actually for the A5, because obviously the RS5 is the super sporty version of the A5. The medium sporty version happens to be the S5. It says Quattro here, so the co-passenger does not freak when you get onto full throttle. I love this beautiful treatment. It's very tastefully done. In fact, it's everywhere. In fact, what is RS specific here? It says RS right there. It says RS on the steering wheel as well, and it gets this flat bottom treatment. Let's do one thing, let's adjust the steering wheel, so adjustable both for reach as well as rake, and then I will just put it back into my proper position. This is obviously for the cruise control system of this vehicle. A lot of buttons here. This is for the drive select, this is for stop start system, this is for traction control, and this seems to be for self park, which also works very nicely. This is for the parking sensors, and this is to turn off the screen. I think I pressed the volume button by mistake. Now here is the beautiful screen, which actually is 10.1 inch in size, but unfortunately the MMI controller has been removed, and there's this small storage box wherein you can't really keep much as such. So that's a bit disappointing, because they should have given the MMI controller, because that's so much more intuitive to use. There are twin cup holders as such, and there's ambient light around that as well, and this is, I think, an ashtray. There's a 12-volt charging socket. There is a USB plug here. This is the engine start stop button. There's a button here for God knows what. Okay, this is the hazard light switch, and has this continuous AC vent treatment, which actually looks quite nice and tastefully done. This definitely looks like an afterthought. It probably isn't, but it is an afterthought because I think it's come in the facelift as such. Lot inside the screen, but before that I can show you the sliding armrest. Below here there's storage space. There's a USB-C charging socket, and there's a 12-volt charging socket, and there's a proper place for the key. Thankfully I've got physical controls for the audio system, for the volume, and you can obviously turn off the system from here and also go to a previous or the next track from here as well. Auto hold function, electric parking brake, gear lever feels nice. The treatment is beautifully done. So this is a screen which, okay, we're going to get into reverse parking camera. Gives you a good view of what's around for sure, and it has got 8 ultrasonic sensors in the rear for the self park, of course. We're just going to slot the key, which slots in perfectly. Now here you get a mirror along with a light, and light placement is here on the top as well. There you can see the light. Just going to turn it off. Auto dimming inside rear view mirror. Let's do one thing. Let's open the sunroof, which is actually a panoramic sunroof, but doesn't seem panoramic because it kind of ends right there. A panoramic roof would be much bigger, but this is actually bigger than a regular sunroof. That's the maximum it actually opens. So yeah, this is not a panoramic roof, even though Audi claims it to be a panoramic roof. A panoramic roof should even cover the rear passengers, although it's much bigger than a regular sunroof. So somewhere in between as such, you get a light along with the mirror on this side as well. Now the steering feels beautiful to hold. It's really very nice, and you get these aluminiums which are also fantastic. Meanwhile, okay, these are actually the controls for the wipers. The wipers work really nice. You can see plenty of spray on offer. Maybe they should also offer a rear wiper since this is a Sportback. And these are the controls for the indicators, not for the light as such. Now this is beautiful. This screen is really very nice. In fact, if I press this RS mode, so there it changes the screen as well. So yeah, once I press it, and there you can get the regular dial, and then you can browse through so much information like engine data, and I can get the G meter as well. And if I press this button, there you can see onboard computer, lap times, lap statistics, acceleration measurement as well. So 0 to 100, 0 to 200, 1/4 mile, 1/8 mile. I mean, this is so freaking loaded. Now this is something which is very RS specific, and if you want to just focus, it has this reduced display which removes the multi-information display from the center. So here you get onto the onboard computer, you can see date, time, and I mean the usual bits which you see in a lot of Audi cars. And if I so want, I can just get onto the audio system or the media function. Yeah, there it is. And then even navigation, and then I can get a full view too. So pressing this button makes me get into the full view. In fact, if I press this button, RS mode, there. Now if I press the full view button, rather view button, and there, oh my god, this is fantastic, very nice. You get so much information, which is very nice indeed. And it also shows you how much power and torque you're consuming. So there, yeah, that's about it in neutral. It has a soft limiter, so it's not going to rev beyond 4000 RPM. These are actually the controls for the audio system. This is the RS mode, and these are actually the controls for this screen, of course. Now let's come to this one. Here, there is something interesting for sure, because it has this, RS mode or RS monitor, where it has a G-force meter. So you're just going to zoom in at the moment so you can see that clearly. So there's the G-force meter. Let me come out from here and into Audi Drive Select. So there are not many modes as such, which we will talk about when driving the car, but you can configure the RS modes if you so wish. Lights and vision, it has got obviously background lighting, but it's a little complex, this menu. So there are some predetermined ones, and then obviously you can get into individual and configure. Now you have two different ways to configure. One is surfaces, the other is contours, of course, and there are 32 colors for the ambient lighting, rather 30 colors for the ambient lighting. No. It does not get 64 colors of ambient lighting, which you see in Mercedes cars, but ambient light is quite nice because you get different light here, you get different light there, and then you get a white light near the audio system, of course. This is also quite nicely done. What I don't like is that, the menus are like too expansive. You have to get into sub menu, then another menu, then another menu. So let's just get into settings for the moment, because I want to get into display and brightness, which is actually for the Audi virtual cockpit. So this RS performance mode is already active because I can do it from the steering wheel. So I don't need to really look in here, but it tells me to confirm it, and there it changes as well. Honestly, I just feel that it is easier to just do it from here. So you're just going to get out of this menu as well. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I don't like the whole relying everything on a touch screen, because it's not that intuitive, and then multiple modes inside. Efficiency assist, which tells me how efficient I'm driving. Meanwhile, what I like is the fact that I have massage function as well. So here massage is there, and it has wave, need, and stretch. I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but yeah, you can increase and decrease the intensity by pressing a button here. Let's do one thing. Let's play an audio right away. Audio quality is absolutely phenomenal, and there's nothing you would expect less from Bang & Olufsen audio system in this car. Quality levels are fantastic, but how is it to drive? But that is something which is more interesting, because this is an RS model, of course, and there the soft limiter kicks in every time. Let's start driving right away. But before we get going, I realized a couple of things. First and foremost, when obviously you turn on the car, it kind of does a full swipe up, and when you exit the car now, it shows you Audi Sport, but we'll come to that in a bit. This is lovely how you can just touch it to activate the AC controls. Like, this is so amazing. That's really nice and awesome as well. And I also realized one thing, that you don't have to go into the menu. You can just press this button here, okay, to activate the massage function. Yeah, just press that button, actually activate the massage function. So just do one thing. Let's turn off the car, and when you do that, it says Audi Sport, and after some time it will like nicely dim out as well. Few things on the outside also I realized. First and foremost, these rims are actually wider than the one on the S5. So the S5 has 8.5J alloys. This has 9J alloys. So I think that is for better handling, of course. And there's the Audi logo here as well. Like, that's some crazy attention to detail by Audi. So now I think we should start driving, because बहुत time pass हो गया. But एक और यहाँ पे feature दिखाई देता हूँ. Let's lock the car. Now if I keep this button pressed, okay, to unlock the car, there all the windows roll down. I think S5 में सब roll down नहीं हो रही थी. In fact, यहाँ पे तो that sunblind thing is also going down. Come on, open the sunroof as well, because it's kind of tilted at the moment. Yeah, all the windows of the car roll down with the press of a button on the key, which is a feature which kind of become basic because of the Polo and the Rapid. But now new Volkswagen Skoda cars are not getting this feature. Don't understand why this roof is not completely reclining. ये थोड़ा ऊपर उड़ गई है, but it's not open completely. Let's just press this button and just get everything back up. There it happens. Let's go. Beautiful sun today. Beautiful. Love it. All right, we are all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning. We are going to get into car. Air conditioning off karte, start stop system has turned off the car actually. So we are going to turn off the start stop system as well. We're going to get into car because there's some amazing graphics which is known as the RS monitor. So I don't want to actually monitor the engine oil and all. So we're going to put the G meter right there. We're going to get into RS mode, just a button, and it puts it in the best possible mode. Here we are going to get into 0 to 100 km/h acceleration measurement. So it's also getting ready for the same, I guess it is. Into drive mode, hazard light off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, and off we go. Oh, well. What is the timing? Remove that speed limit, 80 km/h exceeded warning. 4.3 seconds, not bad, because that was a sort of an incline. Firstly and secondly, I lifted off the throttle because it went absolutely bonkers in terms of acceleration. My goodness, this acceleration of this vehicle is super duper awesome. So what do we have here? We have a 2.9 liter twin turbo V6 motor. Yes, this was actually co-developed with Porsche, and this engine is absolutely ballistic. What an engine, what a motor, what surreal performance as well. It absolutely lunges ahead. First and foremost, they've actually put the turbos in the V in order to contain turbo lag. Have they succeeded? Not really, because there is some lag lower down, and that's the reason it really doesn't shoot off the line. There is some lag, and once you get into the mid-range, that's where when the turbos spool up really nicely and punch this car hard and fast. And then once you get into the top end, that's where the acceleration is absolutely mind-numbing. Specifically post 4000 RPM, it really flies all the way to its red line of 7000 RPM. So it has a lot of grunt at 7000 RPM. So that's the reason we are going to get into manual mode right now. I'm just going to downshift right now, paddle shifters of course, and here we are into second gear. 7000 RPM. It will not upshift unless and until I decide to do so, which is amazing because the tachometer is having an absolute ball of a time. So we're just going to get into maybe sport displays here as well, which is actually the G meter. Quite nice. We have a G meter here, we have a G meter here as well. I love this virtual cockpit from Audi. I think 12.3 inch in size. So this engine actually produces 450 horsepower between 5700 to 6700 RPM, and the torque output is 600 Newton meters between 2000 to 5000 RPM. The result is absolutely bonkers performance. 0 to 100 km/h in 3.9 seconds. 0 to 200 km/h in 12.8 seconds. Top speed electronically limited to 250 km/h, but this car will actually go till around 275 km/h. That is the level of grunt it has to offer. Amazing. What an engine. It sounds also nice, and it is ballistically quick. The mid-range is super duper awesome. This 8-speed gearbox is actually a torque converter unit. Doesn't feel like a torque converter. It actually feels like a dual clutch unit because it's so quick with shifts. It's really very fast. It's really very active, which is again beautiful. I don't want to be in the G-force meter right now, so we are going to get into maybe something else. Yeah, onboard computer doesn't make sense. I think it's acceleration measurement which makes more sense. So we're going to try again 0 to 100 km/h on a flat road with a bit bigger balls, of course. I love the way it rushes to the red line. It has so much oomph there. This is such a fantastic engine. It is really amazing, this engine. I love it. It's fantabulous to say the least. Okay, here we are going to come to a halt. Brakes are also very nice. We don't get carbon ceramic discs. Steel discs get the job done. Really sure-footed braking, but can get a bit noisy as such. And here we are. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. It actually went ahead and made this screeching sound because it accelerated so brutally, and in that excitement I forgot to click on 0 to 100 km/h timing, but we shall do it right now. Downshifts very aggressively. Okay, 0 to 100 km/h timing, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor 3000 RPM. Oh, sound like Santa Claus right now. But it took 4 seconds. Claimed is 3.9 seconds, so it's absolutely obnoxious. With Nurain's weight, we're able to manage this time as well. So what we are going to do is we are going to turn off traction control. Okay, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. My goodness, the performance is absolutely mind-numbing. Even with traction control off, no issues with respect to grip. So we're going to get into again 0 to 100 km/h timing. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. Oh my god, it actually pushes you back. The level of acceleration is unbelievable. 4 seconds again. This is so freaking consistent. This is unbelievable how well Audi's managed to do this on this car. The acceleration, so we're going to do it once again, and I just hope I don't blow the gearbox doing this again and again, and off we go. Please tell me I managed 3.8 seconds. We beat Audi's official timing. That is the level of grind. Okay, I have to admit, a little bit of a downslope, but still, what stupendous acceleration. This car will eat everything alive in a straight line. That is the level of performance. Mind-blowing, Audi. Absolutely mind-blowing. So we're going to shut off RS mode for the moment. Let the engine and the gearbox cool for a bit, but we still get into dynamic mode because we can. So here we are into dynamic mode. Then there are 3 drive modes on offer: comfort, auto, and dynamic. And there is 2 RS modes which are customizable. Basically, what all does it change? It changes the drivetrain or the drive system in Audi speak, which is the engine and the gearbox in tandem, and the steering as well as the sound. So for the drive system, there are 2 modes, either balanced or dynamic. There is no comfort or eco mode here, which is actually a good thing. Steering has 3 modes: comfortable, balanced, and dynamic. And you know what, I'm actually reading it out because all the adjectives used here are so complex. For engine sound, they're subdued, automatic, and pronounced. Well, I honestly feel you have to be in the pronounced version because it just sounds so much better. We're just going to shut this RS mode for a moment. We are in dynamic mode, and you know what? You can manually take control of the gears using the paddle shifter, so you can just slot the gear lever left. It gets into manual mode, and there, let me downshift here. Here we are. Aha! It holds the red line beautifully well. Of course, this is the 2nd generation facelifted version of the RS5, which is available in 4-door guys now. They had launched the coupe version earlier, which I had driven and had a lot of fun, red colored one, if you guys remember. They actually had launched the RS5 with a 4.2 liter V8 motor, which was naturally aspirated, made the similar amount of power, which is 450 and 430 Newton meters of torque. This one has 170 Newton meters more torque because of turbocharging, but that redlined at 8,500 RPM. This one redlines at just 7,000 RPM. That's one of the negatives of turbocharging. Now we're going to launch again in this mode. Let me see if I can beat that timing. Yeah, why not? Let's just get into acceleration measurement. Okay, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, auto manual mode. I am not kidding. Every time it upshifts, it's like a javelin punch of sorts, and I'm waiting for this warning to go so I can see the timing. 3.8 seconds. Thank you, gravity. I know it was on a downslope, but still, it's absolutely phenomenal, the performance of this car. Mind-numbing to say the least. It absolutely revs so fast. It's so brutal in the way it accelerates. Specifically, the top end is so reassuring. It's like an orgasm which erupts when you hit the red line. It upshifts in no time. Before you blink, you miss, you gone. You're like, that's how this RS5 performs. What a car, what an engine, absolutely mind-numbing. But all that enthusiasm will go out of the window when I start comparing this car with its rivals, which is the C63 AMG and the BMW M3. Now the problem here is that this car is absolutely brutally fast in a straight line, but it's not playful. It's not as engaging to drive as its German rivals, and I'll tell you why. Because it's obviously 4-wheel drive, because of which it can put all that power down beautifully well. You won't believe the C63 as well as the M3 have more power, have more torque, yet they are actually slower than this Audi. This Audi is faster in terms of acceleration because of the quattro system. The quattro system is so brilliant. It puts all that power down beautifully well, and that's the reason it is faster than its rivals, which are rear-wheel driven. Now, of course, the M3 also gets the option of 4-wheel drive, and that obviously helps its cause to a large extent in putting all that power down. But the quattro system is unmatched. The way it performs, I mean, Audi has fine-tuned the system over the years, and they just got everything spot on right. So beautiful, so nice the way it powers channel. In fact, it channels 60% power regularly to the rear wheels, and it can channel up to 85% of the power to the rear wheels depending on the situation. That's the reason it doesn't have any understeery nature. It's very neutral in terms of balance, and then if you go near limit, there's some sort of oversteer, but it corrects so fast and so quickly. In fact, it's so neutral and so easy to drive that any Tom, Dick and Harry can sit inside this car and go flat out without having to worry because of the quattro system, which makes wet surfaces feel dry. Yeah, that's right. That's how good the system is. And that's not all. The system is so good that you don't have to worry before putting full throttle, even with the traction control off. Do this, I mean, whatever we are doing right now, do this in a C63 with the traction control off, and you end up doing something like this. Okay, by mistake, I clicked on 0 to 100 km per hour acceleration. It's still timing it right now. Steering is really light and easy to twirl, so taking a U-turn is no effort as such. And then the car actually feels so nimble and agile. That's super duper easy to drive. It's unbelievably easy to drive. It doesn't feel its weight at all. The weight is 1785 kgs. You don't feel the weight. It feels so nimble and agile. Handling is also very tight and nice. In fact, you know what? It has amazing body control. Body roll, I don't feel it at all. But there's a problem. The steering is not that fluid. It is not that playful. So it kind of lacks in feel and feedback. But otherwise, fantastic car. But the problem is Audi's actually made this car for the Autobahn, not for the Nürburgring. Now, if I talk about in Indian context, it's made for the Natrax high-speed track, not for the Budh International Circuit. And then when you come to bumps like this, you have to be really very slow because, you know, really low profile tires, extremely stiffer car, even when driven in comfort mode, because the modes don't do anything to the suspension. There's no air suspension, there's no adaptive dampers. Yeah, adaptive dampers are probably optional, not in India, abroad though. And off we go. It will definitely do it faster because you're on a downslope, but how fast? Let me see. Come on, it takes so much time. It's like that suspense before revealing a result. 3.6 seconds. That's how much important it is to go through a slope. Wonderful acceleration. This engine never ever disappoints. Super refined, super smooth. And I think I was talking about the adaptive dampers. They're not there in this car. I think they're optional abroad, but they're not available in India. Now, a car of this character and this price not having any sort of complex suspension is uncalled for. And because it doesn't have adaptive dampers, you get into any mode, it's not going to change the ride quality. The ride is very stiff, very stiff. You can feel almost everything inside the cabin, specifically really low profile tires, so you have to be extremely careful over bad roads. That's another thing, unfortunately. So this is not really a practical car, in spite of the fact that it's practical enough to seat 2 adults at the front, 2 at the rear, rather kids at the rear, and their luggage, and just go flat out. It's like a grand tourer of sorts, and it absolutely does fantastically well in that regard. Now abroad, you've got Vorsprung as well as a black carbon variant, the variants, and they have obviously 20-inch wheels. Along with that, they have black finish stuff like the Audi logo, the front lip, and a lot of other things are blackened out. You can call it Audi's dark edition variant, but this is just fantastic in terms of straight line performance. Absolutely ballistic. Unfortunately though, it cannot, I mean, you cannot disengage the front axle and go drifting or sliding and stuff like that. So Audi's sort of made it very practical and a bit boring also in that regard, because it just cannot do this. RS mode activated, 0 to 100 km/h timing. We are going to time, and left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, 3.5 or something, and you can feel the punch is absolutely mind-numbing, yaar. What an engine. 3.8 seconds. Now this was on a flat surface, which means that it is brisk. What? Even I'm lost for words. The fact is, it's faster than what Audi claims. That's the level of speed. And then I love the way the tacho behaves. So we're just going to use paddle shifters, which automatically engages manual mode, but it will still upshift if you engage the paddle shifters. If you put it on the left side, the gear lever, the Triptronic function, then it will not upshift. Yeah, it'll let me do that on my own. So the thing is that there's some up-down movement which you can feel in this car because of the suspension not being very compliant. It's actually on the stiffer side. I think it gets Audi's sports differential and a sports suspension as well, which is great for handling. But you know, the steering is the only thing which plays spoil sport. In fact, this car is, I don't know, like on afterburner mode. You come to a corner, you can shoot it even before you reach there, because it will absolutely immediately fire out with tremendous amount of grip. It's just unbelievable, the grip levels of this car. I don't know what to say. It's just so good in terms of acceleration. It can eat up almost everything alive. Which brings me to the elephant in the room, which is the fuel efficiency. You'll get somewhere between 3.5 to 8 kilometers per liter depending on your driving style. And it has a 58 liter fuel tank capacity, which is similar to the S5. It's exactly the same as the S5, which makes me wonder, how is the pricing when compared to the S5? It actually costs 30 lakhs more, 1.26 crores for this car on road Mumbai, which is actually quite value for money. And Audi is also throwing in 5 years warranty and 5 years roadside assistance with this car as an introductory pack, and the pricing itself is introductory. Compared to its rivals, the Mercedes C63 AMG, which is a coupe and not the S available in India, is priced at 1.69 crores. So you pay an additional 43 lakhs for the same, which is quite a lot of premium. Meanwhile, when the M3 was on sale, it used to cost 28 lakhs more, around 1.53 crores on road Mumbai. Thus, this is absolute stellar value for money, but there's a reason for the same. It misses out on certain amount of kit. Like, it doesn't even get keyless entry for that matter. And that's the reason they've also skipped on, you know, more complex suspension, resulting in a more attractive price point. It has some attention to detail, like at night. Obviously, the doors, they pop out some light when you unlock the car, so you can see a lot of other things as well. But honestly, it's all about straight line acceleration and stupendous grip levels. It just is so mind-blowing in the way it performs. I absolutely love this car for the way it annihilates the roads. All right, 0 to 100 km/h timing, revving the motor, no launch control unfortunately. I kid you not, it actually feels like an electric car because it doesn't really have that level of driver involvement or that, you know, passion and character which the C63 AMG has. 3.7 seconds to 100. I mean, it's beating Audi's own claim time every time. That's how lovely and wonderful this car is. So guys, this is my vlog of the Audi RS5. What a fantastic machine. Really quick in a straight line, fantastic grip, not that playful, so it's not track oriented, it's more straight line oriented. It's a grand tour and it's absolutely phenomenal in that regard. Looks great. People actually turn around, they twist and turn just to see the car. That is how good it looks. And then of course it has the performance which will put a massive smile on your face. If you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.